On the day of our third wedding anniversary, my wife, Chloe, publicly kissed her assistant, Leo Carter, at the company's annual awards gala. The applause was deafening as the MC joked, "Looks like our marketing director has finally found her true love." I sat in the audience, smiling and clapping as I raised my champagne flute. When Chloe saw me, her face went white. She scrambled to push Leo away. The old me would have stormed the stage, torn down her facade, and made her a laughingstock in front of the entire company. But this time, I felt nothing. After the gala, Chloe chased me to the parking garage, her voice trembling with panic. "Ethan, listen to me. I'd had too much to drink." I started the car. "Get in. We'll talk at home." She hesitated for a second before cautiously sliding into the passenger seat. The drive was silent. Once we were home, I went to the kitchen to heat up some milk. Chloe stood in the doorway, chewing on her lip. "Aren't you going to ask me about it?" she said, her voice a nervous probe. I glanced back calmly. "Asked you about what? What happened on stage?" "Oh," I said flatly. "Congratulations to you both." A storm of emotions crossed Chloe's face before she settled on a pained look, biting her lip. "Ethan, it was a moment of weakness." "Leo, he what?" "He said he was quitting and I couldn't bear to lose him." I set my mug down and turned to face her. "So that's how you retain your employees now?" "No," she denied instantly. "There's nothing going on between us." I nodded. "Good. As long as there's nothing going on." With that, I took my milk and went into my home office. I could hear Chloe's sobs behind me, but I ignored them. The old me would have crumbled at the sight of her tears. The second her eyes welled up, my heart would ache, and I'd feel like I had to give her the world to make it stop. But now, her tears were nothing more than a crocodile's performance. Later that night, Chloe tiptoed into the office. "Honey, I'm so sorry. Can you please forgive me?" She knelt beside my chair, tears streaming down her face. It was a move that used to work every time. I'd soften, pull her into my arms, and tell her everything was okay. This time I just looked at her before turning back to my work. "Chloe, get up. The floor is cold." A flicker of hope sparked in her eyes. "You forgive me?" "No," I said without looking up. "I'm just reminding you to take care of yourself." She froze motionless for a long time. After signing a last contract, I stood up and headed for the bedroom. As I passed her, I stopped. "By the way, you can start sleeping in the guest room tomorrow." "Why?" she asked, panic rising in her voice. "Because I have a thing about cleanliness." The words hit her like a slap across the face. Chloe's face flushed crimson, but I had already stepped into the bedroom and closed the door. Through the door, I could hear her crying grow louder. I used to find it heartbreaking. Now I just found it noisy. I put on my headphones and went back to work. When I got to the office the next morning, Chloe was already waiting by my door. She was wearing perfect makeup and a dress I had once complimented, holding a small bag from a cafe. "Honey, I brought you coffee and a bagel." I took the bag, said a polite, "Thank you," and promptly dropped it into the trash can beside my desk. "Ethan," her voice shot up. I leveled a cool gaze at her. "Watch your tone, Ms. Morgan. This is a professional environment." Her face cycled through shades of pale and red before she bit her lip and stalked back to her own office. During the morning executive meeting, I sat at the head of the table. Chloe and Leo sat directly across from me. Leo was in a new suit, his hair meticulously styled. He looked young and sharp. He kept stealing glances at Chloe, his eyes full of adoration. Chloe, however, never took her eyes off me, desperately searching for any flicker of jealousy or concern. Unfortunately for her, my expression remained a perfect blank. Halfway through the meeting, Leo's phone went off. It was a Pikachu ringtone. He flushed quickly, silencing it. "Sorry about that," I said. "Mr. Carter, please keep your phone on silent during meetings." "Yes, Mr. Vance." Chloe jumped in. "He's new. He's still learning the ropes." I turned my gaze to her, M. Morgan, as his direct supervisor. "It is your responsibility to train your staff on basic professional etiquette." "Yes, of course. I'll see to it." After the meeting, I asked Chloe to stay behind. "I don't want to hear another whisper about you and Leo Carter in this office." A hint of panic flashed in her eyes. "Ethan, I swear there's nothing. Whether there is or isn't is irrelevant." I cut her off. "What matters is that it doesn't damage the company's reputation." "So, you still care about me?" she asked, testing the waters. I paused for a few seconds. "Chloe, we are husband and wife, but here we are colleagues. Please learn to distinguish between the two." I left the conference room without another word. That afternoon, my friend Mark Peterson came by the office. "What's up? You look terrible," he said with concern. I gave him the short version of what happened at the gala. Mark slammed his hand on my desk. "Damn it, that cheating witch." "Calm down," I said, pouring him a glass of water. "It's over." "Over? You're just going to let it go? What else am I supposed to do?" I shot back. Mark stared at me for a long moment. "Ethan, you've changed." "I have. I admitted the old you would have taken a bullet for Chloe. Now I'm rational." Mark sighed. "Good. That woman isn't worth it." Just then, my assistant knocked. "Mr. Vance, Ms. Morgan would like to see you." "Send her in." When Chloe entered, she looked uneasy seeing Mark there. "Oh, Mark, you're here." Mark gave her a cold stare and didn't reply. "Ethan, I have a work matter to discuss," Chloe said. "Go ahead." Could Mark maybe step out for a minute?" I glanced at Mark, who took the hint and stood up. "I'll get going. We'll talk later." The moment Mark was gone, Chloe's demeanor shifted. She rushed toward me. "Honey, do you still love me?" I held her back. "Ms. Morgan, please be mindful of your conduct." "Ethan," she snapped, her voice cracking. "You can say whatever you want at home, but you can't treat me like this at work." "Why not?" "Because I'm your wife." I nodded. "Right. You're my wife. So, when you were kissing another man in front of the entire company last night, did you think for a second about how I would feel?" She was speechless. "Chloe," I said, standing up. "Since you chose to cheat at a company event, you'll have to accept the consequences." "What consequences?" "Starting tomorrow, Leo Carter is being transferred to another department." "No," she protested immediately. "He's my assistant. He's incredibly competent. Even better, a competent employee deserves a better platform to grow." Chloe's face turned ashen. "Ethan, you can't do this. I'm the executive vice president. It's my decision to make." I grabbed my jacket, ready to leave. "Where are you going?" she demanded. "On a business trip for a week." I didn't have a business trip. I just couldn't stand the sight of her anymore. I stayed in a hotel for 3 days. Every day, I was bombarded with texts and calls from Chloe. They started with apologies, escalated to threats, and finally devolved into begging. I didn't answer a single one. On the 4th day, Mark showed up at my hotel. "Hiding out like this isn't a solution." "I'm not hiding." "Then go home." I shook my head. "I don't want to." "Why not?" "The sight of her makes me sick." Mark was taken aback for a moment. "Ethan, maybe you two should just get a divorce." "A divorce?" It was the first time I had really considered the word. "Yeah, a woman like that isn't worth your time." I sank into thought. Divorce. The idea had taken root in my mind a long time ago. It started the day I found the first flirtatious text between her and Leo. I knew then that our marriage was over. "I'll think about it." That night, Chloe sent me a long text message. "Honey, I know I was wrong. I really truly know I was wrong. Leo has been transferred. I'll never see him again. Please come home. The house is so empty, and I'm so scared without you." I read it, deleted it, and then blocked her number. On the 5th day, my assistant called. "Mr. Vance, Miss Morgan has been crying in your office all day. She just collapsed. Should we call an ambulance?" "Go ahead," I said calmly. "Do you want to come see her?" "I can't. I'm out of town." I hung up and went back to reviewing the quarterly financial reports. Whether Chloe lived or died had nothing to do with me. On the 6th day, I went back to the office. My assistant reported, "Mr. Vance, Ms. Morgan called in sick today." I went about my workday as if nothing had happened. In the afternoon, the head of HR came to see me. "Mr. Vance, I have something to report." "Go on." Leo Carter submitted his resignation. I glanced at the letter. The reason cited was personal reasons. Unable to continue working at the company. Approve it and asked for his replacement. We'll post the opening publicly. After the HR manager left, I got a call from an unknown number. "Mr. Vance, this is Leo Carter." "What is it?" "I'd like to talk to you about Chloe." I almost laughed. "What is there for us to talk about?" "Mr. Vance, Chloe really loves you. She almost died for you yesterday." "Oh," I replied evenly. "And don't you feel any sympathy for her?" "Why should I?" My question seemed to stump him. He was silent for a long time. "Mr. Carter," I continued, "you are no longer an employee of this company. Please stop meddling in my marriage." But I hung up. Kids these days. He really thought he was the romantic lead in a movie. While I got home that evening, Chloe was busy in the kitchen. She saw me and her face lit up. "Honey, you're back." I took off my shoes. "What are you making?" "Hot roast and that tomato soup you like." She watched my expression nervously. "You're not mad anymore." "I'm not mad." "Really?" Hope flashed in her eyes. "Really?" I confirmed. "Chloe, we need to talk." She immediately turned off the stove and sat down across from me, her posture tense. "Ethan, what do you want to talk about?" I pulled a file from my briefcase and placed it on the table in front of her, the divorce papers. Chloe stared at the papers on the table, the color draining from her face. "Ethan, you're kidding, right?" "I'm not kidding," I said calmly. "I've thought this through." "Why?" Her voice began to tremble. "Is it because of what happened at the gala?" "I told you I was drunk." "It's not just about that." I took out my phone and opened a folder. "This contains every chat log between you and Leo for the past 6 months. The last bit of color vanished from her cheeks. You went through my phone." "I didn't have to. You forgot to log out of your iCloud sync on the home computer." Chloe's hands trembled as she reached for my phone, but I easily moved it out of her grasp. "These messages are more than enough to prove what was going on." I continued, late-night chats, sending each other photos, all those nauseating pet names. "Ethan, let me explain." "There's nothing to explain." I cut her off. "I don't care when it started. I just want to end this marriage." Suddenly, Chloe dropped her knees. "Honey, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Get up." "I won't." She clung to my leg. "Ethan, I can't live without you. I'll die if you leave me." I looked down at her, feeling nothing. The old me would have hated seeing her so debased. Any sign of weakness from her used to tear me apart. Now, I just felt fake. "Chloe, you won't die." I said, "You have Leo." "There's nothing between me and Leo," she insisted. "We're just colleagues." I pulled up a photo on my phone. It was of them embracing outside a hotel. The timestamp was from a month ago. "Is this just a casual thing, too?" Seeing the photo, Chloe's face crumpled in defeat. "Ethan." She released my leg and slumped to the floor. "When did you start suspecting me?" "The first time I saw you text him." "I miss you in the middle of the night." "Then why didn't you confront me?" "Would have mattered?" I countered. "Would you have admitted it?" She had no answer. "Chloe, I'm giving you 3 days to think it over. After 3 days, whether you sign these papers or not, I'm filing for divorce." I grabbed my coat to leave. "Where are you going?" she asked frantically. "A hotel." "Ethan." She tried to get up and follow me, but her legs gave out and she fell back to the floor. "You can't do this to me." "Why can't I?" "Because I love you." I paused at the door and looked back at her. "You love me?" "Yes, I love you." "Then why did you cheat on me?" It was a moment of weakness. I shook my head. "Chloe, you don't cheat on someone you love. You just can't stand the thought of losing your backup plan." "That's not true," she wailed, her cries echoing through the house. "Ethan, I really do love you." "If you really loved me," I said coldly, "you'd sign the papers and stop wasting both of our time." Then I walked out without looking back. I could hear her screaming my name behind me, but I didn't stop. That night, alone in the hotel, I slept more peacefully than I had in years. A house without Chloe in it was as quiet as heaven. The next morning, I got a call from Mark. "Ethan, Chloe just showed up in my office making a scene." "About what?" "She said you're divorcing her and wanted me to talk you out of it." I rubbed my temples. "What did you say?" "I told her I supported your decision." Then she started yelling at me, accusing me of driving a wedge between you two. "Sorry you had to deal with that." "Don't worry about it," Mark said. "But seriously, man, are you sure about this?" "I'm sure." "Then stick to your guns. Don't let her guilt you." "I won't." After the call, I showered and got ready to head to the office. As I was leaving the hotel, I saw Chloe sitting in the lobby. She clearly hadn't slept. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her hair a mess. She jumped to her feet the moment she saw me. "Ethan." I walked past her as if she were invisible. She ran after me. "Ethan, wait." I got in my car and she started banging on the window. "Ethan, open the door." I started the engine and slowly pulled away. In the rearview mirror, I saw her stumble after the car for a few steps before stopping and collapsing onto the curb, sobbing. When I got to the office, my assistant informed me, "Mr. Vance, Miss Morgan is called in sick." At the executive meeting, the marketing department's update was delivered by another manager. Halfway through the conference room, doors burst open and Chloe stumbled in. She was still in yesterday's clothes, her hair disheveled, her face as pale as a sheet. "Mr. Vance," she said, walking right up to me. "I have an urgent work matter to report." The room fell silent. Everyone was watching the drama unfold. "Ms. Morgan, you're on sick leave. You shouldn't be here," I said evenly. "I'm not sick," she shouted. "I need to work." "Ms. Morgan, please calm down." "I am calm," she shrieked, then dropped to her knees. "Mr. Vance, I'm begging you. Please don't abandon me." A collective gasp went through the room. I stared at her, my face a mask of indifference. "Ms. Morgan, this is a place of business. Your behavior is inappropriate." "I don't care about what's appropriate," she cried. "Ethan, I can't live without you." I pressed the button on the conference phone. "Security, please come to the main conference room." "Ethan," she panicked. "You can't do this to me." Security arrived moments later. I gestured toward her. "Please escort Ms. Morgan out." "Yes, Mr. Vance." As they tried to help her up, she fought back. "Don't touch me, Ethan. You can't do this." Ultimately, she was removed from the room. I continued the meeting as if nothing had happened, but I could feel the weight of everyone's stares. Afterward, the company president called me into his office. "Ethan, this situation can't continue." "I know, sir. The company's image is paramount. I will handle it." That afternoon, HR informed me. "Mr. Vance, the board has suspended Ms. Morgan." "On what grounds?" "Conduct detrimental to the company's image." I nodded silently. It was the outcome I had expected. Chloe's actions today had been a severe breach of company policy. That evening, I was working in my hotel room when the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Leo Carter. "Mr. Vance, can I come in and talk?" I stepped aside. "Please." He sat down and got straight to the point. "Mr. Vance, I'm here about Chloe." "Her again?" "Yes." He nodded. "Chloe tried to kill herself today. She cut her wrists." The pen in my hand stopped moving. "What?" "A neighbor found her in time. She's in the hospital now, recovering." I was silent for a few seconds. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because she keeps calling out your name." "I see." My detached response seemed to shock him. "Mr. Vance, aren't you worried at all?" "Why should I be?" "She's your wife." "Not for much longer." Leo shot to his feet, his face filled with anger. "Mr. Vance, how can you be so cold-blooded?" I looked up at him. "Mr. Carter, you probably have a better idea of why she tried to kill herself than I do." "What do you mean?" "If she hadn't cheated on me, we wouldn't be in this position." Leo was speechless. "And furthermore," I continued, "she's not doing this because she lost her great love. She's doing it because she lost her safety net." "You're heartless." "Heartless?" I laughed. "Mr. Carter, when she was sneaking around with you, did she ever give a damn about my feelings?" Leo looked down, unable to meet my eyes. "Now that she's desperate, you both come here and call me heartless. That's rich." Leo stood there fuming. "Mr. Vance, you're going to regret this." "No, I won't," I said with certainty. He slammed the door on his way out. I went back to my work, my focus completely unshaken. Chloe's life and her drama were no longer my concern. The next day, it was business as usual. The moment I got to my office, my assistant told me, "Mr. Vance, the hospital called. Miss Morgan would like to see you. Tell them I'm busy." But no buts. At noon, Mark came to take me to lunch. "Heard about Chloe's suicide attempt." I did. "You're not going to see her?" "Nope." Mark looked at me and shook his head in wonder. "Ethan, you've really changed. For the better or for the worse, you're more rational." We were in the middle of our meal when my phone rang. Unknown number. "Ethan, it's Chloe's mother." I paused. "Hello, Diane." "Ethan, Chloe is in the hospital. Can you please come see her?" "I'm sorry, I'm at work." "Is work more important than your wife?" she asked, her tone accusatory. "Diane, Chloe is not my daughter. She is my wife. Or rather, my soon-to-be ex-wife." "What ex-wife?" "You're not divorced yet." "We will be soon." "Ethan," she raised her voice, "Chloe nearly died for you. Don't you feel any remorse?" "No, I don't." I replied directly. Her mother was so stunned by my bluntness that she couldn't speak. "Diane," I continued, "if you really care about Chloe, you'll advise her to sign the divorce papers. It will be easier for everyone." "How can you be like this?" "Like what?" "Chloe loves you so much. She loves me. I cut her off. Diane, did you know that Chloe was cheating on me? Silence. So, you knew? I said, since you knew, don't you dare try to lecture me about love. But there are no buts, Diane. Your daughter made a mistake and now she has to live with the consequences. I hung up. Mark stared at me wide-eyed. Dude, you didn't even cut her mom any slack. Why should I? She's your mother-in-law, for God's sake. Not for much longer. Mark just shook his head. I honestly don't even recognize you anymore. So, what do you think of the new me? He considered it. He's pretty solid. At least he's not crying over some woman anymore. That afternoon during a meeting, my assistant knocked. Mr. Vance, there's an attorney here to see you. Send her in. A young female lawyer walked in. She was striking with a sharp, professional demeanor. Mr. Vance, good afternoon. My name is Claire Sterling. I've been retained by Chloe Morgan. Please have a seat. She sat down and pulled a document from her briefcase. This is a letter outlining my client's position. I took it and scanned it. She's contesting the divorce. That's correct. She hopes to reconcile the marriage. That's not going to happen. Claire looked at me intently. Mr. Vance, are you truly unwilling to give her a second chance? A second chance? I countered after she betrayed me. Everyone makes mistakes. And mistakes have consequences. I interrupted. Miss Sterling, are you here to mediate or to give me a lecture on morality? She paused. My apologies. That was unprofessional of me. If Chloe is unwilling to sign, then we'll proceed through the courts, I said. I have more than enough evidence of her infidelity. What evidence? I took out my phone and showed her the text logs. Claire's expression shifted as she read through them. Are these authentic? Every last word. She handed the phone back and was quiet for a moment. Mr. Vance, I believe I need to have another conversation with my client. Be my guest. She stood to leave but paused at the door. Mr. Vance, for what it's worth, I personally believe you're making the right decision. I was surprised. Why do you say that? Betrayal is betrayal. There's no excuse for it. And with that, she left. An interesting lawyer. That night, I was watching TV in my hotel room when a news story came on. A marketing manager at a major corporation is recovering in the hospital after a suicide attempt reportedly linked to a domestic dispute. They didn't use her name, but I knew it was about Chloe, so the story was out. I turned off the TV and got ready for bed. Tomorrow was a new day. The third morning, I got a call from Claire Sterling. Mr. Vance, Chloe has agreed to an uncontested divorce. Good. She has one condition, however, which is she wants you to visit her in the hospital one last time. I thought for a moment. Fine. When would this afternoon work? Yes. That afternoon, I went to the hospital. Chloe was lying in bed. A bandage wrapped around her wrist, her face as pale as the sheets. A flicker of light appeared in her eyes when she saw me. Ethan, you came? I did, I said, taking a seat by her bed. What did you want to say? Her voice broke. Ethan, I really am sorry. I know. Can you forgive me? No. The light in her eyes died. Why not? Because forgiving you doesn't change anything for me. What does that mean, Chloe? You didn't cheat because I did something wrong. You cheated because that's the kind of person you are, I said calmly. Even if I forgave you, you just do it again. No, I wouldn't, she insisted. I swear I would never do it again. Swears are cheap. She started to cry. Ethan, why do you have to be so cruel? I'm not being cruel. I'm being realistic. So, our 3 years together mean nothing. 3 years? I scoffed. Chloe, in all those 3 years, was there ever a single day you were truly honest with me? She froze. From the very beginning, you were with me for my money. You married me to secure your position at the company. That's not true. Then what about Leo? I asked. Why did you fall for him? She fell silent. Because he's young and handsome and he fed your ego. I answered for her. Chloe, you never loved me. You only loved what I could give you. Ethan, and now that I'm leaving, you're panicking. So you pull a stunt like this to try and manipulate me. I continued, but I'm sorry. I'm not buying it anymore. Chloe broke down completely. Ethan, please don't leave me. And why shouldn't I? Because I can't live without you. Then why didn't you think of that when you were cheating on me? She sobbed, unable to form a response. I stood up. Chloe, my lawyer has the papers ready. Sign them. I won't sign. Then I'll see you in court. I turned to leave, but she called out my name. Ethan, is there something else? If I sign, will you come visit me sometimes? I shook my head. No. Will you miss me? No. She collapsed back onto the bed in utter despair. I walked out of the room. Claire was waiting in the hallway. Mr. Vance, you're cutting ties so completely. It seems a bit harsh. Harsh? I stopped. Miss Sterling, between the two of us, who do you think has it worse? Well, I was betrayed, deceived, and hurt. And now I'm supposed to feel sorry for the person who did that to me. Claire had nothing to say. Let me ask you, Miss Sterling, if this happened to you, what would you do? I would also choose to divorce. Exactly. That night, Claire called. Mr. Vance. Chloe signed the papers. Good. When would you like to finalize the divorce? As soon as possible. Would tomorrow morning work? Perfect. After hanging up, I let out a long, slow breath. It was finally over. This miserable chapter of my life was finally over. The next morning, Chloe and I finalized the divorce at Claire's office. She was in a wheelchair, pale and empty-eyed. She didn't say a single word through the entire process. When the paralegal handed us our respective copies of the signed settlement, she finally broke down. Ethan, she sobbed. Is this really it? Are we really over? It's over, I said, tucking my copy into my briefcase. You're free now, Chloe. I don't want to be free, but you are. With that, I walked out of the law office and didn't look back. The sun was bright outside. I took a deep breath. Freedom felt good. Claire drove me back to my office. How are you feeling, Mr. Vance? She asked. Great. Not sad at all. Why would I be sad? Well, it was a 3-year relationship. Miss Sterling, I said, looking at her. Do you consider a one-sided relationship a relationship at all? She thought for a moment. No, I suppose not. There you go. When we arrived at my building, I got out of the car. Miss Sterling, thank you for your help. You're welcome. She smiled. Mr. Vance, I have to say I really admire you. Why is that? Not everyone can walk away with such clarity and resolve. It's easy when there's nothing worth holding on to. She nodded. Mr. Vance, if and this is just a hypothetical. If you were open to it, could we perhaps be friends? I was a little surprised. Of course. Could I get your number then? Sure. We exchanged contact information. Mr. Vance, she said, a slight blush on her cheeks. I think you're a very good man. Thank you. A man like you will definitely find someone better. I smiled. I'll take your word for it. After she left, I went up to my office. My assistant greeted me. Mr. Vance, the chairman would like to see you. I went to the chairman's office. Ethan, sit down, he said, gesturing to a chair. I heard the divorce is final. Yes, sir. You handled the situation with Chloe Morgan well. Thank you, sir. This company isn't charity. We have no room for people who tarnish our reputation. I understand. Now that you're single again, you can focus entirely on your career, he said with a smile. I'm promoting you to headquarters. Headquarters? Yes. As Executive Vice President of Global Strategy. It was an unexpected and welcome surprise. Thank you for your trust, sir. You've earned it, the chairman said, clapping me on the shoulder. You have a bright future ahead of you, son. I left his office in high spirits. Not only had the divorce not hurt my career, it had opened up an even greater opportunity. That night, Mark took me out to dinner to celebrate. To Ethan Vance and to new beginnings, he said, raising his glass. Thanks, man. So, how does it feel? I've never felt so light. That's what I'm talking about, Mark said, taking a sip of his beer. You know, Ethan, I always knew Chloe wasn't right for you. Why do you say that? She's selfish. She wanted all the benefits of being with you without ever giving anything real in return. It doesn't matter anymore. You're right. It's in the past. Mark suddenly grinned mischievously. Hey, I want to set you up with someone. Who? A really great girl. My buddy's sister. She works in finance. No thanks. I'm not looking to date right now. Why not? I just want to enjoy being single for a while. Fair enough. You're young. No rush. As we were talking, my phone buzzed. It was Claire Sterling. Mr. Vance, sorry to bother you. No bother at all. What's up? I actually have a few legal questions I was hoping to ask you. I don't know anything about the law. They're about business contracts. I'm sure you know more than I do. Well, why don't we set up a time to talk about it in detail? That would be great. When are you free? How about tomorrow evening? Perfect. I'll text you a place. Sounds good. After I hung up, Mark was grinning. Dude, you're barely divorced and already have women hitting you up. It's not like that. She's a lawyer with a business question. A lawyer? Mark's eyes lit up. The one who handled your divorce? Yes. Is she hot? She's very attractive. Ethan, this is a golden opportunity. What opportunity? Ask her out. Mark said, seriously, you're divorced. You need a fresh start. Don't be ridiculous. It's for work. Work can turn into something more. I just shook my head, but I couldn't deny that Claire had made a strong impression on me. She was professional, rational, and principled. The complete opposite of Chloe. Maybe this really was a new beginning. The next evening, I met Claire at a quiet coffee shop. She was wearing a simple white blouse and a black skirt, looking effortlessly elegant. Mr. Vance, thank you for making time for me. My pleasure, I said, sitting down. So, what's the legal question I can help with? She looked a little embarrassed. Okay, so it wasn't really a legal question.